Hi guys, so today I'm going to be taking the tent box off the roof of my car, and I thought whilst I was doing that I'd share with you some of the pros and cons of keeping it on top of your roof as a semi-permanent fixture. So first off, I'm going to talk a little bit about fuel consumption. Now it may seem obvious to everybody, but having a big brick strapped to the top of your car is definitely not going to do you any favours with your fuel consumption. However, after a few months of having this on top of the car, I've only noticed a small increase in the amount of fuel that I've been using. It's just something you need to bear in mind if you're planning on keeping this on top of your car as a semi-permanent fixture, or if you're doing a lot of travelling day to day with your vehicle. So another thing with keeping it on top of your car as a semi-permanent fixture is safety. So obviously when you're travelling around, you're parking in lots of different locations, the safety of the actual tent box itself is a concern. I actually put some Jubilee clips just underneath the locking nuts there, just to make it a little bit more difficult to detach it from the car. I also have got one of these shed alarms, and I've attached that to the bottom. It's glued and it's cable tied. Now that thing is really loud and it lets off a big screech when anyone tries moving it once the alarm's set. So you can get them from TentBox themselves, but I had one spare that I was going to use in the shed, but it's worked really well as a safety feature for that. And as getting a tent box is a big investment, you want to make sure it's safe at all times. So these are two little precautions that I've taken just to make sure it's safe. A nice little pro about having a tent box on top of your car as well is that whenever I park in any car park, a supermarket, anywhere I'm going, I can always find it. So another thing you need to bear in mind when keeping your tent box on top of your car is your height restriction. So a lot of parking spaces and car parks have height restrictors on them. Now in most cases you can get under these nice and easy, but just bear that in mind if you're travelling around a lot or you need to park in sort of industrial city spaces, then there might be height restrictions that you can't get the car under. So it's definitely worth taking that into consideration and plan your routes out thoroughly before you're actually visiting anywhere with the tent box on top of your car. Now probably the most obvious pro to having a tent box is the quick setup. Now I've taken this on a few adventures now over the past few months, and setting up has never been easier. I can just turn up to any site that I want, pull up to the best view and location, and just quickly set up within 10 minutes. Now the more and more I've practiced this, the easier it's got, but obviously it makes life so much easier rather than trying to keep a tent in the back of the car plus all the other equipment I want to take with me, and then having the faff of setting up and making sure I've got the right pitch when I get there. All I need to do is make sure the car's reasonably level and then set up and away I go. So if anyone out there is like me, they hate planning things majorly far in advance. Now, having the tent box on top of the car allows me to go on an adventure anytime I want with little planning. All I need to do is just chuck some gear in the back of the car and away I go. I don't have to worry about packing a tent in the back. I don't have to worry about refixing it to the roof. I know it's all secure. I know it's ready to go. So it just allows me to get out whenever I want, as quickly as I want. And as they do weigh a fair bit, it is always easier once they're up. You don't really want to be taking it on and off your car all the time. Now I am going to be taking it off in this video because I'm travelling up to Scotland in the next few days, and I was a little bit concerned about where I need to park the vehicle during the time I'm up there. So I thought best thing to do is take it off the roof, and I'm actually going to be storing it according to the TentBox guidelines, and I'm going to be keeping it off just throughout the winter. Because we've had a bit of snow recently, I was also worried about the extra weight on top of the car, so I'm going to be taking it off and then putting it back on in the spring, ready for my next round of adventures. Another huge pro for me having this tent box on top of my car as well, it's a great talking point. So obviously I've got my YouTube channel and I'm trying to grow this as much as possible, so having this on top of the car has really allowed me to engage with people, because people are always curious about what it is, what it does, and I love talking about it. As well as being a great talking point, it also gives you a feel of community, because there's been plenty of times I've been travelling down the motorway and I go past someone else with a tent box on top of their car and you always get a bib and a wave. And for me as a content creator, that's a great thing. I want the engagement, I want to be able to interact with people, but also I want to talk about things that I love. So obviously it's a two-man job to get this off the roof, but again, one of the downsides is having this on your roof all year round, you do collect a little bit of dirt. So I guess one of the next stops I'll be making is getting that cleaned. Actually, let's put it this way, one of the next things that we'll be having is this guy right here is going to be cleaning that for me. Let's call it a Christmas present. So that's just a few of the things I found about having a tent box on top of your car as a semi-permanent fixture. I hope you found them informative, and remember guys, until next time, if you're not outside, get outside. My car looks so naked now without it.